I'm Elliot.
I'm Carl.
I drive shit cars and he's got IBS. Welcome to Shitbox.
That was uncalled for, that. So, this week, the format's going to be a bit different. We've decided to change it up a bit so that gives a bit more variety to the podcast.
Yeah.
So 1 week we'll do the normal episodes where we just chat shit about cars, do the news.
Basically, there's no F1 news on.
Yeah, there's no F1 news.
I mean, there is, but...
There's no car news either this week, really, is there?
Yes.
But if we have a 2 week period, it gives us more to talk about in those episodes.
I suppose the F1 film comes out soon. We can do a review of that. And have you heard Brad Pitt's interested in making a TT racing film as well now? Yeah, because he's just doing side quests with motorsports.
And then, so 1 week it'll be the normal episodes, and then the other week it'll be the history of a car, automotive person, like someone from automotive history, car parts brand, car brand.
Yeah. We can do a Ken Block episode.
That's a really good idea.
Another Ken Miles.
Yeah.
Ken Miles.
Do Ken Miles. We can just do the Kens.
Do all the Kens.
Just do the Kens.
I think that's it.
Yeah, and then might do the Rons. No, that's what we put in the car, the Rons.
I don't know many Rons in motorsports, right?
Other than the Murray Rons.
Are the Murray Rons?
The Murray Rons.
Tesco Rons.
Tesco Rons.
That's why I go.
We've been watching a lot of Rob Exclusive at the minute.
Yeah, send us some hoodies.
Yeah, I missed out on those hoodies by a day. I need money for Rons.
Yeah, I need money for hoodies.
So yeah, I think we're starting off strong this week.
Can do. Yeah.
I think we're starting off strong this week.
Oh yeah, it's the RX7 week. This is my dream car.
My dream car.
It's mine first.
Wow. It's been mine since before I knew.
Should we talk a little bit before we get into it? A little bit what inspired us to want these as our dream cars?
Because they're an absolute unicorn. They've got the best engine ever made in them.
So I don't know if you've ever heard of a show on Netflix called Hyperdrive, but there was a car on that, and it's not where I knew him before. He went on the Hyperdrive, and it was a guy named Aaron Parker has built an absolute monster.
Yeah, and then for me it was a guy called Rob Dahm.
Yeah, he likes them.
Yeah, so he built the RX7 Unicorn. So he did a tube chassis RX7 FD with a very similar suspension setup to the Unicorn, and put an absolute monster of a four-rotor in it.
We'll get on to why these engines are so cool.
They're just cool. So, the history of the RX7. Chapter 1, Birth of a Dream.
Nazi Germany.
Our story begins with German engineer Felix Wankel, who invented the rotary engine in 1950.
I reckon it was around the 1940s, but they can't say that.
Mazda, then known as Toyo Kogyo, was fighting...
He's not a Nazi, though.
Toyo Kogyo?
Yeah.
It was a company name.
Oh. Was it? Oh, was that what
Mazda used to be called?
Yeah. They went for a few different names. A few different badges.
So Mazda, then known as Toyo Kogyo, was fighting to stay independent amid post-war industry consolidation in Japan. To stand out, they needed something bold. Development chief Kenichi Yamamoto led the charge, determined not to abandon the rotary despite fuel economy concerns. He believed it would define Mazda's future.
Sorry, just one on that. Rotaries, fuel economy.
Crap. In 1963, the company unveiled the Cosmo Sport at the Tokyo Motor Show, powered by a 10A twin-rotor rotary engine. After thorough refinement, it entered production in 1967, serving as Mazda's halo car. Success in endurance races like the Nürburgring Marathon de la Route proved the rotary's reliability. Yamamoto and his team had found a niche, a compact, high-revving engine married to an exotic design.
Exotic engine as well? Well,
yeah, because exotic to Japan anyway, because obviously...
Have you seen the...
Germany, fundamentally, Japanese styling with German engineering.
Yeah, and that's what built Mazda's name.
Yeah.
And then also, Mazda Speed, the racing team, did some crazy shit.
Some absolutely crazy shit.
Yeah.
Chapter 2, laying the groundwork. Building on the Cosmo's success, Mazda introduced the RX3 in 1971, also with a rotary powertrain. Developed by engineers including Matsuburo Miida, the RX3, aka the Savannah, gained traction in IMSA and touring car racing. It established Mazda's sporty image and set the stage for a true mainstream rotary sports car.
So is the one they raced there, is that the green and orange one that we're talking about? Oh, no, that's later, isn't it?
That's a lot later.
Because is this still in the 70s-ish?
Yeah, this is 71.
Yeah, I think it was 90s, the green and orange one.
By the mid-70s, Mazda had scaled rotary production and fine-tuned durability. They were ready for the next step, a lightweight, affordable two-seater that could bring rotary thrills to the wider audience.
Rotary thrills?
Rotary thrills, bro.
Sounds like a fucking
I'm going to clip here, just the sound of a rotary engine. Because it is. A rotary idling, there's no better sound.
They'll come before the end.
Chapter 3, the birth of the RX7 SA and FB. In 1978, the first generation RX7 debuted. Built under program manager Matsuburo Miida.
You're getting better at these names.
Yeah, I am. It featured a 1.1 litre 12A twin rotor engine. The SA model, 1978 to 1980, was nimble, weighing less than 1,000 kilograms, with front, mid-engine layout and near perfect balance.
Mazda's very good at balance in their cars, especially when the engine weighs fuck all.
Yeah,
it's, I've had spare tires that probably weigh more than some of these engines.
The FB update, 1981 to 1985, brought fresh bumpers, a 5-speed gearbox, and an optional 1.3 litre 13B engine.
The cool
with fuel injection, offering up to 135 PS, so around about 130 brake horsepower.
So let's put that into perspective. That's the non-turbo one, the 135, isn't it?
That's the naturally aspirated version, yes.
So we're talking 80s now, 70s? That's
early 80s, yeah. 81 to 85.
So that engine made more power than your 1 litre EcoBoost without the turbo.
Yeah.
But it drank fuel.
In 1983, the Impact Turbo RX7 launched in Japan, producing 163 PS. Mazda refined the turbocharger's rotary flow path to minimise lag, a first for production rotary cars. So Chapter 4, breaking through. Despite the oil crisis looming...
Great emphasis on braking.
Despite the oil crisis looming over rotaries, the RX7 achieved massive success on track. It dominated IMSA's GTU class for 7 straight years and claimed the GTO championship 10 times. On road and track, Mazda had captured hearts worldwide, building credibility for their rotary dream.
So they went on to ban rotaries from all motorsports, apart from drift, because it doesn't really matter.
No, it doesn't really matter there.
It's not a speed thing, but they eventually got banned.
Well, they had the one in DTM, a rotary.
Yeah, that's the green and orange one.
Yeah, that's where it originally got banned.
Yeah,
was DTM
because it was phenomenal, and
Do you know what we need to do an episode on?
Go on.
The time Audi took a diesel. The time Audi took a diesel to Le Mans, and diesels got banned from Le Mans.
We should talk about how we always slag off NASCAR, but then they took a NASCAR to Le Mans and it did sick.
That was brilliant. Chapter 5, Evolution. In 1985, Mazda launched the second generation RX7, codenamed FC. Designed by Tom Matano, later known for the MX-5, the FC nodded to Porsche 994 aesthetics and introduced the 13B rotary as a base.
But what they mean by the 994 is it was square.
944.
944. Sorry, yeah.
It was square.
It was square. I nearly bought one of these.
What, 944?
No,
an FC.
An FC. I pulled up into a service station, and there was one there. It was red. It looked a little bit worn, needed some loving, and the guy was actually in the service station buying tools to fix it on the roadside.
Was he?
Yeah. And
do you want to buy it?
I said that obviously, the RX7 is one of my dream cars, and he was like, "Do you want to buy it, Jen?" And I was like, "No, not today." I was in my Mazda as well.
Oh, were you?
Mm.
Powered first by a naturally aspirated engine that made 146 PS, the Turbo 2 emerged in 1987, offering 182 PS from a twin-scroll 13B turbo.
Twin scroll?
Twin scroll, mate.
Yeah,
that's twin scroll. My car's twin scroll. A factory convertible appeared in 1988, the only drop-top RX-7 ever. In 1989, power climbed to 160 PS from the naturally aspirated version and 200 PS from the turbocharged version.
Can I just say something as well? Like modern day, it's not 300 brake, it's not quick and all that. 200 brake in the 80s was crazy. And to be honest, you can probably get them for about 10 grand, the FCs. A car for 200 brake for 10 grand, that's as iconic as the RX7 and sounds as amazing.
That's cheap.
It's good,
that's a bargain. That's value for money, that.
It's better than your little fucking Fiesta ST. I'm looking at you. I know you've got a Fiesta ST. You've got loads of stickers on it. You've got your stage 1 fucking intercooler on it. Yeah, your fucking stage 1 induction kit, I mean.
Stages. Don't start me on stages.
And you're like, you might beat me on the racetrack, but you would never got me on country lanes. Eat a dick.
Mazda even released an Infini appearance package in Japan.
I'm not familiar.
I'm not.
Okay. Cool.
Under program manager Takeo Kijima, sporty variants like the Type RZ debuted in 1992, building momentum for the next generation.
The Type RZ?
Again, not familiar, because I'm
familiar with the Type Rs, because that's a traditional Japanese naming scheme. Type Rs, and the only one that still does it is Honda. They've got their Type Rs.
EK9 Type R. Ooh. Chapter 6, the masterpiece.
Oh, don't. You get me excited.
By 1992, despite economic headwinds, Mazda introduced the third gen FD RX7, designed with flowing curves by Matano's team and led in development by Kijima.
Can I just say, even today's standard, this
gorgeous
car's gorgeous. Like, your Porsche isn't as nice as as the RX-7 FD. Especially when you put the Spirit.
I'm going to annoy a few people here. I don't think there's a singular Ferrari on the road that looks better than an RX-7.
That's controversial. I'm not a big fan of Lamborghini styling.
No, I'm not either.
It's very aggressive, and I don't think they have the race.
If I wanted to buy a Hot Wheels car, I can buy one a lot cheaper.
Obviously, we can't afford neither Ferrari or Porsches or RX-7s for that matter.
To be fair, at least there are Ferraris that I'll drive. There are Ferraris that if I had the money, I would go out and buy them. there isn't a single Lamborghini I would buy.
I like the Lamborghinis, but the styling is ridiculous.
No, I can appreciate the engineering that goes into them. I just don't like the style. Don't like the way
I
they
don't
look.
think they've got the racing pedigree to.
I need to look
talk.
I need to look at my car and go, that's fit.
I suppose if you, no matter what Lambo's outside your house, you're gonna be like, I drive a Lambo.
Yeah.
And them guys, you are like, oh, I've got a Porsche and it's a Boxster. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It featured sequential twin turbocharging on the 13B REW, producing 255 to 280 PS in later Japanese variants. The FD delivered sub 5 second 0 to 60, sharp handling, and earned Motor Trend's Import Car of the Year in 1993.
Right, 5 second 0 to 60. Now, this is in the 90s. We're talking 30 years ago. So after all these years of, that's what's in a S3 do? That's about 4 or 5, isn't it?
5.5 seconds for an S3.
Is it?
RS3 is about 4.5.
Is it?
It depends whether
because the Golf R's in the
also
sub
depends
sub
on whether
fives.
it's a quattro car or not.
So, you know, you're talking that some of your dream cars aren't as quick as this car, and that's 30 years old. It was ridiculous at the time.
Yeah, like an S3 in the grand scheme of things isn't that quick.
The quick.
They're quick.
Anything sub 6 seconds is quick.
That makes my car quick.
Yours isn't sub 6 seconds. Yours is.
Mine is 6 seconds.
6.6, isn't it?
No, 6.
Is
flat.
Anything sub 6 seconds, definitely into the 5s. Sub 4s are quick. Sub 4s are super quick. But 0 to 60 isn't what it's all about, is it?
Yeah, emissions and economic woes forced Mazda to withdraw from the US and European markets by 1996. Production in Japan continued into 2002, culminating in the exclusive Spirit R, a final refined flagship edition.
And it's gorgeous. It has the side skirt, it's got the spoiler. Oh, it's so nice. The Spirit R is like the creme de la creme of rotary cars that have ever been built.
Despite its end, the FD remains a modern classic, fast, beautiful, and one of the most collectible JDM icons. With over 811,000 RX7s built, Mazda's gamble on the rotary engine paid off, turning a niche tech into an automotive legend. And
when we talk about legend, people talk about the Skyline series, them being the legend cars, where, you know, and then other big, massive advocate for Supras, I'd put the RX7,
100%,
FD, Spirit in the category of all of them. They are the creme de la creme of Japanese cars. Probably on the cheaper end of that.
If I was going to have
roster.
2 JDM cars, it would most definitely be an RX7 and an NSX.
NSX.
Oh. That was like the quickest production car for a while.
Well,
and it was VTEC, didn't have a turbo.
So the RX7 we're talking about there, they attempted to set a world speed record, but there was an accident while they were doing it, and I believe the driver was killed. So out of honour and respect the Japanese people have, they didn't attempt it again. So that could have been the world's fastest car at one point, if it didn't lose control.
Although rotaries faded in production by the RX-8 in 2012 due to emissions, Mazda's commitment endured. The RX Vision, an iconic SP concept signals a future of the return.
So, are you familiar with the SP iconic?
No.
This is the redoing the RX-7.
Are they?
Yeah, and it's gorgeous, and it's got pop-ups.
Oh, pop-up headlights.
And they've officially said they're going to put it into production. It was a concept at first. I think they're calling it the Iconic. That's the name. It was originally... I'm going to get my phone so I can show you this car, because it is gorgeous. Just have a little pause while I get this up.
From Yamamoto's unwavering belief to Manoto's organic design and Kojima's performance tuning, the RX-7 story is one of bold vision, engineering brilliance, and pure driving joy. It's more than a car, it's a legacy.
I believe it's going to be hybrid, but it's still going to have a rotary.
That's gorgeous. I love it.
And it's got pop-ups, and the pop-ups are like futuristic. Oh, I haven't even showed you the rest of it. The doors.
Suicide.
Not, what are they
That's
called?
amazing.
So
yeah, that was the RX7. Absolutely iconic car.
I'm going to show you the pop-ups as well. Now, we'll put all these on screen. The pop-ups are like little slits that come off.
That's sick. Wow.
It's such a gorgeous car. So that's it with the pop-ups down. It looks like it's sleeping, and then like the old Mazda.
Nice.
So we'll put some pictures of that.
Yeah, we'll definitely put some pictures up.
In terms of the rotary engine, because that is the meat and bones of the car.
Yeah.
They are not the most. They have to be well maintained.
Yeah, they do.
And
give me a minute. Stop recording. I'll cut that out.
In terms of the rotary engine, that's the meat and bones of the car.
Yeah.
It's the bread and butter. It's what makes the car the car. They went on to put it in the RX8, which is cool. I still think it's cool, but at the time it was a disappointment compared to the predecessor of the RX7.
Yeah, definitely was. But it's a completely different way of powering an engine because it doesn't use the traditional piston.
No. And Mazda...
I'll put a picture here of the way that a rotary engine works, because it's basically a spinning Dorito inside a peanut-shaped hole.
It's not peanut
shaped.
It's
peanut-shaped.
It's not. It's like a circle in it, and it's...
No, it's...
I'll have to have a look at a picture of it again.
It's like... I'm sure it is.
No,
it's
I
ever
think
so
you're getting
slightly
mixed up now.
Concave.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, it's
like
an oblong. Yeah.
And the way it works is it's technically one revolution of the piston is one power stroke, but it's not.
They're a nightmare to do maintenance on, you know.
Are they?
Because your spark plugs, you've got to jack the car up and get it through the wheel well.
Oh.
Because
because it's on the underneath.
Yeah.
Because it's like the top third of the engine is.
There's another car you've got to do that. Is it the boxer engine?
Yeah, the boxer engine.
Yeah.
Because they're flat, aren't they?
Yeah.
But it's like the top third is intake. The bottom third is combustion. So the bottom right third is combustion.
Yeah.
And then the bottom left third is exhaust. And that's how it works.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's good. I like it. It's cool. In terms of the RX8 though, they are I think they're a slept on car. They are cool. Yeah. You can get them to sound cool. They're a little bit tuned down compared to the cars we talked about there. I mean,
it's not the same 13B engine though, is it?
I believe it is. It's a refined version of it.
Right. Okay.
So they tune it down and put it in a basically a 4-seater to make it more, because you've got to think of when this car come out in the early 2000s or in the mid 2000s. Sorry. Nobody was buying 2-seaters. Everyone was having kids, and for the car to fall under certain categories in terms of taxation, it had to be a family car. So it's heavier. It's got cool doors on the rears. It's got the suicide doors on the rears.
Yeah.
They're like 3/4 doors. Cars dope. I like them. You can get them for quite cheap. Tax is quite high. Actually, I think tax has gone down, we said, didn't we?
Yeah, tax has gone down on them because that's due to the way that the UK government are now doing the car tax. So it's no longer based on emissions. It's now based on car type and car size.
Yeah.
Mine's gone up massively because of it. So mine used to be... Mine should have been £35 for the year because it's a 2-litre diesel and it's Euro 6
Yeah,
spec,
Euro 6.
Euro 6 spec for the emissions. So it should have been £35 for the year, but since these changes, it's £165 for the year now.
I've got 2 cars that are Euro 4 spec range. One went up, one went down. I don't understand it. Mazda went up, and the
I don't understand how the Mazda went up because it's a small car.
yeah, but it's also got nearly a 1.9 engine in it. I think it's just under the brackets.
They've just completely changed the way that they do it, haven't they? So
yeah, and not only that, it falls under the category of a sports car.
yeah, this is also true.
Whereas yours is a family estate.
Don't call my car a family car.
It's a family
That's
car.
a beast.
That's what estate's for, isn't it? For your dog
Yeah,
in the
no,
back.
to be fair, my car's just a cool dad car.
Yeah, that is it. The cool dad car. It's
a quick dad car.
I've got a big dog in the back of my car.
Do you know what? I'm kind of wishing now that I'd have bought the 5 Series estate.
I like a 5 Series estate.
Purely because...
But we're talking Doritos
the boot's
and
bigger
wraps.
than the saloon.
What, sorry?
The boot's bigger than the saloon. However, it's still not quite tall enough for like everything I need to do.
How many bodies are you putting in it?
Well, I was trying to put cardboard boxes in the back of it last night because one of my mates is moving out.
Heavy.
And I had to put the seats down because the boxes were too tall. I'm like, my car should fit there.
Best estate I've ever had. Fabio estate.
Yeah.
That was quite big.
That crashed quite spectacularly as well, though.
And no, not as spectacular as the first MX-5.
No. But
that one was quite a boring crash compared to... I mean, the other guy that it crashed into, he had a well good time, didn't he? Bounced off a barrier, spun around. It was like a roller coaster.
So
nearly died.
We didn't crash into him. He crashed into us sideways on a back road, but that was... it
was a good car, that
was
got value quite low.
Good car, spectacular night.
I only had 40k on it, and they gave me £5,000 for it for 2018. I was like, all right, cheers.
More than that.
So we'll do a bit about F1.
Yeah.
Because even though there wasn't a race this weekend, and I was lost all weekend and didn't know what to do with myself, because when there's no racing on, I feel depressed. Okay.
You've been filling your time with the F1 game, so...
Oh yeah, I've got like 60 hours in it already. It's been out for like a week and a bit.
Madness.
I do have a life as well. I currently am in a position where I don't need to work.
Yeah.
For a short period of time, so... Yeah. You wish you can play the game all day?
Yeah. I've got to go to work.
Yeah. So, we'll talk a bit about rumours. I'm not a big fan of rumours, so we'll start off with facts.
Yeah.
Stroll wasn't in the race.
No.
At Spain.
No.
So, what the statement come out and said is he'll miss the race due to injury in his wrist that they've been monitoring for a number of weeks.
Yeah.
To me, I understand who he is, but if I was running a team...
Who's replacing him?
Well, it was still up for speculation.
Right.
We don't know whether he's coming back for
Danny Rick.
So it's his home race, isn't it?
Danny Rick.
Maybe Vettel. He's already got ties with the team.
He has, yeah.
Imagine. Vettel won't come back. He's too...
Vettel and Alonso in the same team.
Yeah.
That's a powerhouse.
So he's missed the Spanish Grand Prix. And it's unsure whether he's going to Canada as of now. We might find out probably an hour after we finish this pod, like we did fucking
last week.
Yeah. So it's his home Grand Prix, so I'm hoping he'd want to be there.
Yeah.
But there's rumours that this is where the rumours start coming, and it sets up a whole chain reaction of rumours. So he didn't get into Q3. Now he's been seen in the past as being very emotional
Q2.
in his garage.
Didn't get into Q2.
Didn't get into Q3. He got knocked out in Q2.
Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously there was a video going around of him pushing mechanics in a previous season. Apparently he went into the garage threw his helmet and had a bit of a tantrum.
You reckon he's hurt his wrist doing that?
No, I reckon his wrist was hurt. Or I don't think his wrist was hurt, sorry. I reckon this is, they've sort of suspended him off the books.
Yeah.
His dad's grounded him. Said, no more racing until you behave.
Put baby in the corner.
So that's rumours. It's coming from fairly credible sources.
Yeah.
To a certain level. How it sets off a chain of reactions to silly season is rumoured George Russell to Aston Martin. And why it makes sense is because Aston Martin have obviously a British team. They've just got a load of money injection from Daddy Warbucks. They've got a decent drive. They've got a decent driver.
Yeah.
I mean, Stroll's not an awful driver. We've had worse drivers in F1. However, he's on his 10th season and he has the most Q1 exits.
Yeah.
Than any other driver of all time. I believe. Don't quote me.
Yeah.
I think I've seen that number somewhere. So if he was to set down from F1, the reason why George Russell to Aston Martin makes sense is because of Toto Wolff's reaction to the last race. So obviously, Russell was running basically a whole media day on how much Max Verstappen's a dirty driver and stuff like that.
Yeah.
When Toto Wolff was asked about it, he was very neutral.
That's because he wants Verstappen to go to Mercedes.
He does. However, this isn't the first time we've seen George Russell looking for seats.
No.
Because there's been pictures of him with...
I wouldn't be surprised if we end up seeing George Russell in a Haas.
There's been pictures of him with, what's his name? What's his name? The
Flavio
cheetah.
Briatore.
Yeah.
Alpine.
Been pictures of them together, having talks, as well as over at McLaren, which to me was a crazy thing because both of their drivers are under contract until on long-term contracts.
Yeah.
I think they both run out in 2026.
No, they've just extended Piastri's.
So, but we know in F1, as we've seen this season,
they will buy them out with a contract.
A contract means nothing.
It doesn't mean
anything.
And
to McLaren, they paid Danny Rick, I believe it was estimated 15 million to stay at home so they can bring Piastri. So,
yeah.
The contracts mean nothing. Now, where this does sort of put Russell in a corner is if Max drops to fourth in the championship before the summer break, Max can terminate his contract.
Yeah.
So, where would he go if he terminated his contract? He'd look at Mercedes. Ferrari have already got a decent lineup and probably won't take him because they've just paid big money for Lewis Hamilton, and I can't see them racing on the same team.
I can't see them getting rid of Leclerc.
No, I can't. They give him a contract bigger than they give Schumacher at one point.
Yeah.
Schumacher never got a 5-year deal.
No.
Leclerc got one on his first fucking signing.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. So that's set in stone. So where's he look? Mercedes, Aston Martin, McLaren aren't going to take him on. Not with... I could see a decent duo with Max and Lando. That'd be a decent duo. I'm not sure about Piastri. I feel like Piastri gets on with Max. I'm looking at the post-race interviews and the way Norris talks about Max's racing versus Piastri. Piastri's like understands he's playing the game. Norris is a bit more, let's play the media. So he'd go to, the only safe option seems Mercedes. Obviously, at the beginning of the season, Aston Martin, there was a rumour they were throwing big numbers at him, talking 300 million a season.
Yeah.
I think it was over a 4 year, it was over £1 billion they were going to, or €1 billion they were going to give him to go to them. Obviously, just rumours. So George Russell is shopping in case his seat's gone.
Yeah, this is true.
And as a driver, I think George Russell
is
consistent, but I think he makes too many mistakes to be in a top team.
Yeah.
They've got a fairly decent car this season, the second in the championship.
Yeah.
But it seems like every other battle he has, he just turned in on me. He just turned in on me. He just turned in on me. And he doesn't really see... And he's made some big mistakes, especially...
Yeah, he has.
The one in Bottas in Imola a few years ago, that was massive. And he got out and was screaming at each other. And I was just remember thinking, he's going to watch this back and think, oh, shit, that was me. So, to Aston Martin, that makes sense to me.
Anything else from F1 this week?
So, they announced the calendar for next season. I think I sent it to you.
Yeah.
Seems pretty much the same as this season.
Apart from the lack of Barcelona to Catalonia.
Yeah, that's gone.
What's that changed to?
Off the top of my head, I didn't look for that. I forgot about Spain's going. Got a race coming up,
is it
Canada.
No, it's not Milan, is it? It might be Milan.
They're talking about Milan, yeah. Or somewhere. I think they should bring back Portimao.
Do it.
I love that track.
Brilliant track.
Paul Ricard as well.
I liked Paul Ricard.
It's a bit fucking confusion when you look at the track layout, because obviously they race so many different series there.
It's a quick circuit though.
Yeah. It's a tyre killer,
the GP riders love Paul Ricard.
Yeah, but they race a different layout.
Yeah.
It seems like every discipline races a different layout, and the track's built to accommodate
WEC races the same layout as F1.
Do they?
Yeah.
So I think... So my issue is, are we going to get... Because there was rumours that there's another American track. I can't cope, because why are we going to get another... They were talking about like Chicago or something.
Well, if it's the same circuit that they race the NASCAR at Chicago, that'd be quite a good track.
But why have we now got 3 American GPs?
I don't know. Because what have we got? We've got Circuit of the Americas.
Yeah.
Miami.
Yeah.
And Las Vegas.
Yeah. And one of them's a good track.
And then if you really want to include Mexico in that as well.
That's South America.
Yes, but there's Mexico and Brazil. What's the Brazilian track called?
Sao Paulo.
São Paulo.
Yeah. That's a fantastic track. That's staying. I love that track.
I love that track. It's so unpredictable on the weather as well.
I think Mexico's the same as well.
Yeah.
It's a killer, and they have to tune their engines differently because of height and altitude and all that
I wouldn't mind seeing them change Circuit of the Americas.
I like Circuit of the Americas. I think
there are better tracks.
I understand that.
In America than Circuit of the Americas.
But it feels like America is making tracks to bring F1. I feel like they're trying to target the American audience because they know how much money they can bring. I've said it before, and I'll say it
again. We need to move the British Grand Prix from Silverstone.
I think it's a fantastic track.
I'm not a fan.
Historic, and
it's too flat.
And the reason they won't move is because every team fucking saves money in transport to get there, because they all live on the doorstep.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
And they all test there as well.
Because it's Milton Keynes way, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, when they were talking about bringing Danny Ricciardo back to give him an old F1 car, and was like, yeah, we got Silverstone, go. Everyone knows Silverstone. Yeah. It's a fucking decent track. I want a German track, though.
Yeah, I'll agree. I'd like a German track.
I don't think the Nürburg's ready. I don't know.
They could go back to the Nürburg GP circuit.
I think it's mid.
Really? I like that circuit.
I think in terms of racing, it's not. It's not up there. I don't know of any other tracks in Germany.
But if you did it around the Nordschleife, you'd only need 3 laps.
I know, yeah. And 20 ambulances.
Yeah.
20 cranes. Do you know how many marshals you'd need? It's ridiculous. And we're talking open wheel.
It'd be an open wheel endurance race.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. And the way Pirelli are running tyres at the moment, because it seems like tyres is a big issue in F1 at the moment. And it has been for a while. But it's why are some tracks, the mediums faster than the softs, and the way they've, second life and tyres and all that shite. It seems.
I don't understand any of that.
It seems to be crazy. And then we're fiddling with pressures and stuff like that, and bringing reels and tire pressures, and we need to make it simple. Remember when it was it Bridgestone and who was the other supplier?
It wasn't Pirelli at the time, was it? It was Bridgestone and Michelin.
Was it Michelin or was
Michelin,
it
yeah.
Firestone?
No, so you're talking about when they held the American Grand Prix at Daytona.
Yeah.
Which
was crazy, by the way.
And what happened was, because there's grooving in the banked sections of the track at Daytona, and because of the grooving and the weight and the angle of the banking, it puts like a sideways pressure on the wheels, on the tyres. And because Bridgestone at the time, Bridgestone owned Firestone, who used to make
Bridgestone own
yeah,
Firestone.
so Firestone do the tyres for the IndyCar series.
Yeah.
So they had the data to know what the tyres would do on that kind of surface at that angle, whereas Michelin didn't. So you ended up with a situation where during practice and qualifying, the Michelin tyres were popping on the banking.
Yeah.
And the drivers held a protest to say that they were too dangerous.
Only 4 teams turned up or something, wasn't it?
So you ended up with, I think it was eight drivers started the American GP, and they were all on the Bridgestone tyre.
I'd put that in the same category as, do you remember when Lewis Hamilton was the only one on the grid because everyone had pitted for softs? Everyone had pitted for dry tyres. At track was that? I'm trying to think of where it was.
They pitted for dry tyres on the formation lap, haven't they? Yeah.
Everyone had pitted. That image of seeing, I think it was only 4 cars on the grid.
Yeah.
And then Lewis Hamilton on the grid, they're in the same folder in my brain.
But was it last year at the Sao Paulo Grand Prix when we had the aborted start? Yeah, there was a massive thing with that, and
you're gonna get me started on the FIA again, and I ranted enough as it is, because it's a miscommunication of rules.
Yeah,
I want to have a little rant on this whole give the position back sort of shit. This should be down to the FIA.
Might do that as a bonus video.
Yeah.
We'll have a bonus video.
We'll have
a bonus video every couple of weeks if Elliot rants about the FIA.
Another speculation in F1. So Cadillac come into the sport next season. They announced their partnership with Tommy Hilfiger.
Oh yeah.
On Instagram.
Does that mean that Tommy Hilfiger are no longer going to be doing the Mercedes stuff?
They're not. They haven't been all season.
Have they not?
It's Adidas.
Ah.
Yeah. That's why George Russell wears that fucking coat that makes him look like a fucking big potato. You seen it, the silver one?
Nah.
I'll have to show you. So they've announced the partnership.
Yeah.
I follow near enough every F1 driver I think everyone F1 driver on the grid, as well as some ex-F1 drivers. I looked at the people who'd liked this post, and we had Valtteri Bottas and Mick Schumacher were the only 2 F1 drivers to like this post.
So maybe we're getting Bottas and Schumacher to not Andretti. They weren't allowed to carry on with Andretti.
No.
To Cadillac.
I mean, that could be a crazy move.
It could be.
But also I could see Schumacher going to Audi, them dropping this Bortoletto character, keeping Hulkenberg and going for a full German lineup. For the first season in F1.
Can see Toyota buying Haas.
I can see a partnership. I don't know whether
they're
Toyota...
currently in a partnership, but Toyota are looking at getting back into F1 because obviously they stopped all motorsport for a while after 2008 during the recession.
Yeah, as most teams did.
Yeah,
I think BMW pulled out at that time as well.
Yeah, that's when. Yeah, so Toyota pulled out completely. Or it may have been before that, actually. But Toyota pulled out of most motorsport, near enough all of it. And then since 2014, I think it is when Gazoo Racing started. And now, obviously, Toyota Gazoo Racing are now in partnership with Haas. And I think it's a move to go, right, we'll buy you. Because Haas are struggling. Haas are struggling.
I've just come up with my own little speculation as well about a driver move.
Go on.
If a seat is available at Aston Martin, Tsunoda could be going there. And the reason it makes sense is Aston Martin take Honda power units next season. Honda are a big sponsor of Yuki Tsunoda. They like having a Japanese driver in the sport. And they pay
but I can also see if Toyota do buy Haas, I can see them trying to get Tsunoda to go there.
It seems like everyone really wants Tsunoda.
Because I can see Haas use the Honda engine anyway, don't they? Or no, they use the Ferrari engine at the moment, don't they? I can see Toyota going, right, we'll have a Honda engine.
I can't see Toyota saying, let's go to our main competitors for engines. That's not...
No, but it goes in keeping with the whole Japanese kinship.
Yeah.
You know, we'll keep industry within Japan
and
sort of thing.
Is Toyota and Honda currently in a partnership off track? They're talking about making engines together or something, aren't they? There was a bit of a...
Yeah, so I think they've had... Yeah, so, you know, you've got the Toyota CHR, and you've got the Honda crossover SUV that looks very similar.
Yeah.
They're the same car.
Yeah.
It's really badge engineering.
So that could be a decent lineup move. Yeah, you could be right with it, taking a Honda power unit. I don't know whether that's something we're going to see in the coming seasons, though. No. I think that's a while in the works. Ford are talking about coming into... So I feel like there was a big partnership with Ford. And
it seems that lots of the big companies didn't want anything to do with F1 for a while, and now they all do again.
Because Honda's probably profited massive off Red Bull's success. And there's the old adage of, win on Sunday, sell on Monday. Which is one of the main reasons Ford got into Le Mans. But yeah, I think that's a pod.
That is a pod.
So I've been Elliot. You've been Cal.
This has been Shitbox.
You can find us on our socials, TikTok, Shitbox.
Yeah, Shitbox Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and as of tonight, Spotify.
But yeah, that's a pod.
That's a pod.